has been set on fire on a New York City subway by an illegal immigrant. I tell you, we have a serious, serious problem in America. The illegal immigrants are really showing us why we need tough border patrol. The illegal immigrants are showing us why we have to have stricter deportation laws, and we must stand on these laws. Now, this happened in New York, and this happened with an innocent woman who was riding the subway, minding her own business, probably was just getting off from work, probably had a long day at work, and she just was napping, and she was set on fire. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can any of y'all imagine being set on fire? Let's just stop right there. Just imagine, just you're being set on fire by someone. But imagine falling asleep. Imagine coming home from work. You catch a quick nap because your stop will be coming up shortly. So, you just catch a quick nap. But you wake up to being set on fire. Can you imagine? What a horrible, horrible way to lose your life. Let's get into this demonstration. Salute, Kiki. Salute, 80s baby. Let me read my copyright disclaimer, if y'all don't mind. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. When I first heard of this story, it really broke my heart because to see how we treat each other and see how far one will go, and there's no motive. We don't even know if he knew her. Most likely, he didn't know her, and she didn't know him. He's an illegal immigrant. But let's get into this news clip, y'all, and I'll come back. Salute, Suntan. Salute, Suntan.
Police make an arrest in connection to the horrific attack on a New York City subway. The NYPD says a woman was sleeping on the train this morning before she was deliberately set on fire by another passenger.
So as you heard, a woman was set on fire at 7 a.m. And this was yesterday. A woman was set on fire at 7:30 a.m. by another passenger. Do not believe suspect knew the victim. Happened on the F train at the Coney Island subway station. Kiki says, I hear New York is bad because of the immigration situation. New York is very bad. And we're going to get into the problems that these illegal immigrants are causing in New York City as well as other U.S. cities.
The woman, who is yet to be identified, has died. This is what authorities had to say on how technology played a factor in all of this.
Today's brutal murder was captured on one of those onboard train video cameras. It offered detectives immediately answers to questions that they had. What happened? It offered them images of the perpetrator. It allowed them to take those images and release them to the public. And it allowed the public to see something and say something. And that's why we're standing here now reporting that an individual is in custody, a person of interest is in custody.
CNN's Gloria Pazmino has been tracking this story. What are these new details, Gloria?
Well, Jessica, extremely disturbing details that we learned from police officials just a short while ago. This happened early this morning around 7:30 at the Stillwell Avenue station in Coney Island, which is in Brooklyn. And this is the end of the subway line. Now, police tell us that there was a woman who appeared to be sleeping on the subway car. The subway car was not moving at the time. And then the suspect approached her, lit her on fire, apparently using a lighter. That's what we learned during the press conference just a short while ago. The woman immediately caught fire. She was engulfed in flames. And officers that were patrolling the station at that hour were able to respond and put out the flames. They were unfortunately not able to save her. EMS responded to the scene and the woman was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, police really just were able to give a lot of detail, thanks in part to the cameras that were in the subway car. This is a relatively new thing here in New York City, Jessica, that we have nearly full subway cover when it comes to surveillance cameras. That was how they were able to get very good, clear images of the suspect, which they then arrested several hours later. One very important detail, which the law enforcement officials went into, is that they were able to disseminate those images through the media and the press, and then they got a tip from 3 young New Yorkers. So the police commissioner said that they were high school age who saw the man and reported it to the police. They were able to make an arrest, and he is now in custody. I want you to take a listen to the police officials just describing this incident earlier this morning.
So what this coward done, after the coward set the woman on fire, this coward sat down. He took a seat and sat down. Now, when the police rolled up, the police seen him, but they didn't know he was the actual suspect. So it wasn't until the 3 young school kids notified the cops that that's the one that did this horrific crime. He's the one that set the woman on fire. So shout out to those school kids that that notified the cops that that's the one right there that actually set the woman on fire. It didn't even register to him to leave. It didn't register to him to get away. He wanted to see her burn. He wanted to see her burn. But these are the type of illegal immigrants that we're dealing with, that many of you don't have a problem if they stay in this country.
Listen to the police officials just describing this incident earlier this morning.
Someone who we believe carried out one of the most just depraved crimes one person could possibly commit against another human being. And it took the life of an innocent New Yorker. But at this hour, I am pleased to announce that a short time ago, alert NYPD transit officers took a person of interest into custody.
So a combination of technology and good old-fashioned police work there, Jessica, as well as New Yorkers who were paying attention and called it into that tip line. We are waiting to hear details on the charges that this person is facing, and of course more details about the person who was killed in this absolutely senseless tragedy. Jessica?
All right, Gloria Pazmino, thank you very much. And joining us now is CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller. He was formerly the Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism for the NYPD. John, first I just want to get your thoughts generally about this crime and how it all progressed throughout the day and the key role that officials say technology played.
Well, Jessica, it's one of those things that actually could have happened very differently and unfolded in an equally tragic way. So you have an empty train car. You have an individual who approaches this woman who's sleeping. He uses this lighter, according to the video that was downloaded from that train car, to set the blanket that she is wearing on fire. And that fire expands until it awakens her, but at this point she's engulfed in flames and stands up. At that point, the individual who set her on fire has retreated from the train car and sat down in the station on a bench to watch her stand and burn. when police arrive.
Now this is the coward right here. This is the coward. Salute, Miss Wisdom. Salute, Miss Wisdom. This is the coward. Only a coward would set anybody on fire while they're sleeping. Only a coward will set a woman on fire while she's sleeping. Only a coward would have done such a horrific crime that this coward right here has done. Salute 80s, baby. But this is a picture of the coward that done this horrific crime.
All they see is her in the train car, and they summon people with fire extinguishers and people to render aid. But if it was not for the video in the train car, the MTA gets there, they download the video, and they see it, this wouldn't have been a homicide. This would have been either a mystery or a question about how did this woman either catch fire or set herself on fire. But for that video depicted this individual approaching her and lighting on fire. There were no other witnesses to that. Interestingly, the technology then expands because one of the officers on the scene turns towards where this man is sitting outside the train car on the bench, and his body camera actually captures that face. Once they download the video and realize he's gone, they're able to exploit the body cam video to say, here's his picture, put that out over their social media channel, crowdsource it to everybody riding the train and everybody in the city, and he's spotted hours away and far away. So a lot of technology came together, and, you know, it's interesting. When this technology was suggested by the governor and the mayor, cameras on every train car, cameras in every station, the New York Civil Liberties Union came out with a statement. The New York Civil Liberties Union strongly opposes NYPD's plans to increase the number of surveillance cameras until police come up with a plan to safeguard the use of these cameras and the images they capture on tape. Our concerns extend to the announced increase in surveillance cameras on the subway. It was interesting that, you know, privacy advocates and civil liberties people oppose these cameras when you talk to people in the subway, all they say is more cops, more cameras.
Yeah, that is so interesting, and you make such a great point that if that camera wasn't there, we would have maybe never known that anybody had a role in lighting this woman on fire. With that in mind, John, what do we know more about the victim and the suspect? Officials were pretty scant with details. They were still working to ID the victim, frankly. With the suspect, all they could say is that he had arrived in 2018 from Guatemala. That was about all we got. What more are you learning?
When they took the suspect into custody, he basically self-identifies. They did not find any, as I am told from my sources, they didn't find any ID on him. So they're going by his statement as to what his name was, what his date of birth was, when.
So we don't even know if his name is the correct name that he's given. But he's allegedly from Guatemala, and he's been in the country since 2018.
He arrived in this country, where he came from. Of course, they'll be running fingerprints and other records to see if they can confirm that ID, including where he's been staying and to document all that background. But right now, they're not able to speak as to whether he has any prior record of violence or violations on the subway, because all they know about him, at least at this moment, is what he's told them.
Mm-hmm. And the sad thing in these kind of cases, most of these cowards, most of these illegal immigrants, when they commit these kind of crimes in the U.S., most of them end up only being deported back to their countries that they came from, and then weeks, some of them days later, they reappear back in another U.S. city. So we would be under the belief of, yes, well, they caught him, they got him on camera, there's witness, so he's going to go to prison for the rest of his life. However, he's an illegal immigrant, and as I said before, most, not all, most illegal immigrants end up being deported back to their countries after committing horrific crimes.
And I also want to ask you about the fact that New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who you mentioned played a role with the mayor in putting these cameras into the subway, sent National Guard troops into the subway for security during the holidays. Do you think that was the right move? And just generally, when it comes to security with the New York subway, where do you think that stands today?
Well, I think it was the right move in that the National Guard is a backup to the existing law enforcement system. They spend tons of money on overtime to push cops from the street to do overtime tours in the subway. But I think we've all figured out the key here is after the incident involving Frank James in 2022, when he at random opened fire and shot 10 people on the subway, and the cameras on the station were not functioning that day, and we were deprived of that video during the investigation I was a part of. The push to get those cameras in every station, in every subway car, makes a real difference. And here's the other irony here, which is the police commissioner we saw speaking, Jessica Tisch, before she was police commissioner and sanitation commissioner and commissioner of internet for the city, she spearheaded NYPD's technology as the deputy commissioner there. She was the one who introduced the body cameras to the street, which were critical today, the ability to transmit information to 36,000 phones that police officers were carrying, including images, which was instrumental today, pushing NYPD's social media. So as she comes around to her new role as police commissioner, she's literally reaping the benefits of her own hard work from years ago.
Yeah, it is incredible the groundwork that she laid that now has helped her both in this and also Luigi Mangioni's case as well. John Miller,
Now, let's chop it up a few. So, what have we learned so far? Well, we learned that this coward, whom is an illegal immigrant, allegedly, this coward has been in this country since 2018. This coward was seen on video footage. Get a load of this. Seen on video footage setting the blanket of this lady ablaze. Set the blanket on fire. Got off of the car, went and sat down on the station bench and watched this lady that he set on fire burn. Now, she ended up losing her life, right? Because of the burns. Now, he's watching this. What type of person does this? This is a cold-hearted, cold at nature person that would set anyone on fire. Anyone on fire. And I catch a lot of feedback. I get a lot of clapback when I talk about the immigration. When I talk about the illegal immigrants, I get clapback. But Shank, we all are immigrants. But Shank, those immigrants that come to this country, they work hard. But Shank, I always get clapback. Always. If you don't believe that this country has an illegal immigrant problem, you're part of the problem. Now, we can talk about the different solutions. We could talk about the different solutions. I'm willing to talk with anybody about solutions on how to solve this problem. But no longer will I be entertaining anybody that feels as though we don't have a problem with illegal immigrants. I will not spend no more time entertaining y'all. Because if you don't see the problems that we face, you got to remember, these are people coming from all over the world. It's bad enough already as Americans that we are dealing with different personalities in this country as Americans, different religious beliefs. But now we have another group of people coming into this country with their different ideologies, philosophies, their way of living. We have to focus on fixing Americans' problems first. Then, if we got the time, if we got the resources, if we have the energy after fixing our problems, then we can fix those illegal immigrants' problems. We are not the Jesus Christ of the whole world. All right? That dope channel says, bro, you want to hear something crazy? I was on Staten Island 2 nights ago because I had recently moved to Pennsylvania. I had a small pocket knife and they actually locked me up for it. Meanwhile, exactly. Kiki says, period. Exactly. So when it comes to crime in this country, they'll deal with the Americans, they'll deal with us completely different from the way they deal with the illegal immigrants. I'm sure for the pocket knife, I can just imagine. I can imagine what all they took you through. And I don't know the legal status of it. It's a good chance that you might get some jail time, county time, prison time, restitution or probation out of it. But now you have the illegal immigrants. Most of them, they only get deported back to their countries. Some cases, they do serve prison time. They are sentenced to prison time in this country. But in most cases, they consequences is just being deported. So it's a clear sign that that illegal immigrant, he wasn't in this country working hard, trying to provide for his family. Because y'all quick to hit us with that. Oh, shame. But they over here working hard. Oh, shame. They do the jobs that won't nobody else do. Oh, shame. They just trying to provide for our family. Well, not this coward. What do you all got to say about this coward? That lady that lost her life could have been any one of us. That lady that lost her life could have been any one of us, grandmother, aunt, mother, sister, daughter. Why do we have to cater to everybody around the whole world? Why is it our job? When are the American people going to realize it's not our job? That's not our job. I understand. We were taught to love our neighbor. I understand we was taught to help each other. I understand all of that. I get all of that. However, we also was taught help yourself first. As Americans, we have to help America first. Last time that I checked, America as a country, America as a nation is not doing so good. That's the last time I checked. You got Democrats and Republicans supposed to be for the American people. However, you got the Democrat and the Republicans at war with each other. Or is it they're only war at each other in the public's eyesight? You got the rich versus the poor. You got the educated versus the uneducated. You got the old versus the young. You got all these different organizations. You got all these different people in America at war with each other. So how can we fix anything? That dope channel says we got to pay to go to Mexico and all these other countries. Facts. Kiki says, I remember in elementary school, I had an affinity girl in my class talking about how immigrants don't like us but come to our country. I'll never forget that. Facts. She says, Africa, that's facts. America, do y'all realize they don't like us? These immigrants that come to this country, they don't like us. White Americans. I got news for y'all. Y'all may think that they only hate black Americans. White Americans, they don't like y'all either. Let me flip it. Black Americans, don't think, oh, well, they know that the black Americans ain't really the problem. Listen. People around the world, they look at us as Americans. They ain't separating us. So don't think for 1 second, don't get it twisted that they like us. You have to realize, you got to realize how the rest of the world look at us. The rest of the world look at us as bullies. We're always bullying people. We're always bullying other countries. They see this. Y'all do know that they got news. Y'all do know that they got news in their countries. And they show America. They show America more than they show their own country. But they look at America, and listen to me, they look at America as a prostitute that you don't have to pay any money to have sexual relations with. Let that marinate. Salute, Tracy. Let that marinate now. Let me say it again. And if you need me to, I'll break it down. The rest of the world looks at America as a prostitute that you don't have to have you don't have to pay any money to for sexual relations. That means the rest of the world look at us as a place where they can take advantage of, they can come and get rich, send that money back home. I talk about the minimum wage jobs all the time. Yeah, they will work these minimum wage jobs. Why? Number one, it's better than them being in the countries that they're coming from and the harsh conditions that they face. So let's start right there. All right. So if I make it to America, my conditions on how I live is nothing as bad as it is here. All right. That's one benefit. This is an illegal immigrant talking now. Okay. That's one benefit in their favor. They're not going to be under the same harsh conditions in America that they is in the other country. All right. Then the second benefit is, so you mean to tell me whatever money that I make in America, I could send it back home and it triples the value or maybe doubles the value. That's the second benefit. So you thinking, yeah, man, these illegal immigrants, man, they work these minimum wage jobs, man, and they just, work so hard. Exactly. A bunch of con artists. That's con artist behavior. And here it is, as Americans, we over here, we praising them. We praising them like they're doing something that we as Americans refuse to do. The Americans refuse to work the minimum wage jobs because we know those jobs, you supposed to get paid more. And then even the minimum wage job, notice, they take minimum wage up. They take the gas prices up, the food prices up. So we thinking, yeah, they really in our favor now because they raise minimum wage pay. Yeah, but notice every time they raise the minimum wage pay, other prices go up. So now we as Americans, we're here. Appreciate that cash donation, Tracy. Appreciate that cash donation, Tracy. We as Americans, we see it. We see it. We in the country. We live in the country. So we see, well, look, especially for black Americans were once property. Black Americans were once forced to do labor without pay. So for a black America, we already recognize the dope fiend move already. We already see the play. Many of y'all wonder why black Americans won't work. Black Americans are lazy. Nah. It's not that we won't work. It's not that we're lazy. It's just we know our history in this country. See, illegal immigrants, y'all don't know our history in this country. All of y'all, only thing that y'all know is as blacks, We were brought to this country as slaves, but that was 400 years ago. So, no, not 400 years ago. Well, 400 years ago, but then allegedly we got freed a little over 200 years ago. So y'all looking at it like, okay, y'all been freed for X amount of hundreds of years. Well, why haven't y'all made progress? Y'all don't know about the Jim Crow laws. Y'all don't know about the redlining. Y'all don't know about the discrimination towards us. And I can go on and on and on. So you really need to talk to a black America to find out why we ain't working them jobs. Now let's look at the white Americans. White Americans, most of white Americans went to school. They got at least 4 years of college under their belts. Ain't nowhere in the world a white America going to work a funky ass minimum wage job. White Americans, am I lying? But white Americans used to work those minimum wage jobs. White Americans used to work those minimum wage jobs. But they not going to work them. Nor is black America's going to work them. So you get an illegal immigrant come here. Illegal immigrant coming here to do what? To get out of the harsh condition that they just left, as well as pimp the American system. I know. Trust me, I know. So now, what are we going to do with the illegal immigrant problem? I'm going to tell y'all how bad it is. It's so bad that the legal immigrants speak out about the illegal immigrants coming to this country. And let me say this. For everybody that have a problem with Trump, one thing that I know, even those that don't like Trump, even those that got a problem against Trump, y'all gotta admit, y'all do support Trump when it comes to the immigration. No matter how much you dislike the orange man, no matter how much you dislike him, you support him when it comes to the deportation, because I broke it down on the last demonstration. Obama, when Obama was in office, Obama had kids, Obama had families locked in cages. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? So if Obama was tough on immigration, if Obama was pushing the deportation policies and issues, what's the problem with Trump pushing them? They are taking over this country. I know, because no matter what I say, y'all always got to clap back. I know we all are illegal immigrants. However, is all of us illegal immigrants? See, I could go on and on and on and on. I could go on and on and on and on. Are we all really illegal immigrants? That's another demonstration. But right now, we ain't talking about the Americans that are already here paying taxes and are law-abiding citizens. That's not what we're here for. Who really is the illegal immigrants? Like I said, I could go on and on and on and on. But I'm not. I ain't going to hold y'all that much longer. Kiki says, call me for that demonstration. I'm not going to go that much longer. I got one more clip I want to show y'all, and then we're going to get out of here. But we gotta nip it in the bud. I'm from Baltimore, Dope Channel. I'm from Baltimore. You can tell my accent. All right, I think this is it, y'all. Kiki says, oh, I hear it. Dope Channel says, I need it. It's not that bad, your accent. I knew. Kiki says, to you. Not gonna hold y'all that much longer, y'all.
Joins us now with the details on this horrible story. Maddie?
Yeah, the details are certainly disturbing, guys. We do want to warn viewers the video you're about to watch is graphic. This happened Sunday morning. The NYPD says a person of interest whom they now have in custody and the victim were both riding the F subway train bound for Stillway Avenue in Brooklyn. As the train pulled into the station, the suspect walked up to the victim and lit her on fire. Flames quickly overcame the woman, and in one of the most chilling perhaps of this incident, police say the suspect did not leave. Instead, he sat on a bench on the platform just outside the train car. Video appears to show the suspect watching the victim burn. Because he did not leave, the police officers, through their body cameras, were able to get images of the suspect. They distributed those, and the NYPD says 3 high schoolers recognized the suspect. Sources tell Fox News Digital the suspect is 33-year-old Sebastian Zapata. While police...
Sebastian. 33-year-old Sebastian.
The suspect is 33-year-old Sebastian Zapata. Well,
Zabato. 33-year-old Sebastian Tabastio. Shaggy Zoo says, I notice it anything with yous. Yeah, y'all know our accent. But this is a coward, man. Who does that? Who sets anybody on fire while they're sleeping? This is a coward. Who does that?
police did not identify the person of interest. A high-level NYPD source told Fox News Digital the individual entered the U.S. illegally from Guatemala in 2018 when President-elect Trump was president during his first term. The person of interest has no prior arrests in New York City and 1 prior arrest in Arizona, the source said, though details about the arrest were not available.
At this hour, I am pleased to announce that a short time ago, alert NYPD transit officers took a person of interest into custody. I want you to know that this apprehension was another in what has become a series of joint efforts involving different crimes between the police and the public we serve.
So now this is the post that New York Governor Kathy Hochul is being criticized for. She said on X, in March, I took action to make our subways safer for the millions of people who take the trains each day. Since deploying the National Guard of New York to support the NYPD and the MTA's safety efforts and adding cameras to all subway cars, crime is going down and ridership is going up. New York Democratic Congressman Richie Torres called her post tone deaf. Guy, Carly, and Brian.
All right, Maddie, thanks so much. Tone deaf, yeah, to say the least. I mean, you're sitting there touting the safety of the subways, and this is hours after someone was lit up on live because she nodded off on a subway train. Can you imagine? Is there a more horrific way to die?
It's almost too horrible to fathom or even discuss. And unfortunately, we're put in this position because of allegedly what that man that you see on your screen did. And to make matters worse, this surveillance video appears to show that the suspect sat on a bench and watched this woman burn to death as
he sat there. He sat there. Look in his eyes. What was always told to us? The eyes don't lie. The eyes don't lie. Look in his eyes. He set the woman on fire, got off the train, and sat on the bench and watched her. And watched her. Evil eyes. Y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen and get my likes up. Make sure y'all double tap the screen and get my likes up.
police were already starting to respond to the scene. He stayed at the scene of the crime. And going back to Kathy Hochul's tweet and her touting that the subway system has become safer under her leadership, it wasn't only this that happened. Yesterday on a Queens subway, 2 people were stabbed and a 37-year-old died.
Yes.
You can't even ride on a public transportation without being harmed. You can't even take public transportation without fearing of your life being taken from you. America, America the Great. Oh, how she is loved. America, America the Great. Well, let me tell you something, America, America the Great. You have a lot of cleaning up to do.
So 2 killings in the subways, and you can say this is, bad timing for Governor Hochul to have put out this self-congratulatory tweet on subway safety. Yes, it's bad timing. It's also bad policy. That's why we're getting this problem. And it's been an issue now for years. I think Hochul very belatedly is catching up to the political reality, but the mess has already been made, and it's going to take a long time and quite possibly completely new leadership to change anything, because the current constellation of New York leadership has been a disgrace on this issue. We're just learning a few things about this suspect, including that he's in the country illegally, allegedly from Guatemala, with a criminal record in another state. It would make sense for someone like that to come to New York, a sanctuary jurisdiction where he could just hang out until he decides to burn someone to death.
So, Guy, my sense is that we're going to find out this guy's got much more of a criminal history. I don't think you indiscriminately burn somebody alive and think to yourself, I've never done anything like this before.
You don't jump to that.
Yeah, that's my sense. But the other thing to keep in mind, too, is to the cover of the New York Post. I'm watching local coverage just to see how local coverage is. They never bring up his legal status. They say a New York. Okay, it's a main part of the story. We know people commit crimes, but when illegal immigrants come here, many as criminals, to commit more crimes, you say to yourself, if the government does its job, we would not be in this type of danger. And I also think that this all plays into the bigger picture of why you need massive deportation and begins with criminals.
Yeah, no, that's right. And Eric Adams, and he recognizes that, and that's why he sat down and spoke to Tom Homan and says, you got to get the criminal migrants out of the city, but his hands are tied because not only is New York City a sanctuary city, it's also in a sanctuary state, which goes to the point of Kathy Hochul.
So we're going to just stop right there. We're going to stop right there. The illegal immigrants that are criminals, they got to go. The illegal immigrants that are criminals, they got to go. I agree. Those should be the first funky illegal immigrants to get up out of here. If you are illegal in this country and you have a criminal record, you got to go. No ands, buts, maybes, none of that. No compromising. All illegal immigrants with criminal records got to go. And it has to take place immediately. That's the first start. Like I said, it's and in this process, it's not going to be an overnight process. It's going to take some time. But those are the first ones that got to go. The illegal immigrants that have criminal records. Because it shows what you are capable of, and it shows what your funky ass been doing since you've been in this country. Gotta go. Gotta go. Now, back to the lady that lost her life. Can I get some prayer hands? Can I get y'all to throw up some prayer hands for the lady that lost her life? Throw up some prayer hands for her and her family. What a horrible way to go. Like, are we that cold? Like, are we that soulless that this type of stuff don't bother you? You know, when as a society, as a nation, when are we going to get it together? We are not animals. But then again, are we animals? You always got to look at it like that. Are we really animals? I don't think we're animals. I think that our way of thinking, and I think that we have fell to animalistic behavior, but I don't think that we are born animals. Salute, Miss Parker. Salute, Miss Parker. Appreciate you for pulling up. But something has to be done. Something has to be done. Because like I said, we already are dealing with our problems that we already have in this country. And we got hundreds of problems already in this country. We are not supposed to take care of the whole world. Who takes care of America? Somebody answer that question. Why our funky asses are so busy taking care of the whole world, ain't nobody taking care of us. Who can we depend on? Whose shoulder do the American people have to cry on? Don't we have to pay to go in other countries? Don't we gotta have passports? And if we break the law in another country, they be ready to keep us in them countries for 20 years. What was the basketball player that had the vape? Was it the vapes in that country? Well, where she was at? I believe Russia. How many of these other U.S. citizens break the law in these other countries? And they be trying to give them 10 years, 20 years. So why are we so lenient? Now, I'm curious because I want to know what's going to happen to Sebastian. What's going to happen to this coward? Is he going to get a slap on the wrist? Is he going to be deported? And that's what happens so many times. And then they come back, commit more crimes, get deported again, come back, commit more crimes, and get deported again. Americans, stop thinking that these fools love us. Stop thinking that these fools, when they come to this country, stop thinking that they love us and like us. Stop thinking that they are slow. Stop thinking that they are green. Stop thinking that they ain't con artists, like Kiki called them. Con artist behavior. Stop thinking that they don't know nothing. Those funky illegal immigrants are more slicker than Ray Ray and Pookie. Don't get it twisted. Those funky illegal immigrants are more cold-hearted than little Johnny and little Richard that live out in the suburbs. Stop thinking that they come to this country to make this country better. Learn their history. Learn about the country that they came from. Learn about the harsh conditions that they escaped. Learn about what they was doing in their country. Stop praising them. That's why we in the condition that we're in now. Because we always praise the wrong people. We always want to help. We want to help everybody but ourselves. We want to help everybody but our own family and friends. We'll support the illegal immigrants all day long, but we won't even support our own family and friends. We quick to say, let's pray for the illegal immigrants. But when's the last time you prayed for your family and friends? Once again, I could go on and on and on. Y'all give me some comments and then we're going to get out of here. Let me read some comments and then we're going to get out of here. Kiki says, colonizing is something else. Yes. Yes. Very something else. Give me some comments, y'all, and then we're going to get out of here. Kiki says, no respect for Americas. That dope channel says Russia. I hope everybody is having a wonderful morning. I don't celebrate Christmas, but I hope whoever that do celebrate Christmas, I hope y'all get everything that y'all wanted, and I hope y'all have a good Christmas. Be careful out there. Be careful out there. Kiki says, me either. Yeah, I haven't celebrated Christmas in about 33 years. Kiki says, I hope y'all have a good Christmas. Theft says the election is over. The grift is over. Go back to your field. Y'all know what? Normally, and that's another thing. Now, you know what? I ain't even going to put that out there in the universe. I ain't going to. No longer will I say what I'm not going to do, and no longer will I say what I am going to do. So I ain't even going to say nothing about the whatever his name is or her name is. Kiki says, life is so much better now celebrating Christmas, not going to lie. And if you don't know the history of Christmas, that's another demonstration. But just a brief demonstration on Christmas. Christmas is a pagan holiday. It's a pagan holiday. So, but I'm not here to knock those that do believe in Christmas. To each his own. But Christmas is a pagan holiday. Kiki says, laughing out loud, all these demonstrations, laughing out loud, we appreciate it all. And I appreciate you, Kiki. And I appreciate everybody, 80s baby, Suntan. I appreciate all my moderators down there. Y'all work so hard. Miss Parker. I appreciate all my moderators. And I appreciate all of my subscribers, all my new subscribers as well. It's a new year coming up, everybody. It's a new year. It's a new year. And if you would like to support the channel, my Cash App is $ERICMCINT. If you would like to support my hard work. Super Mike says, appreciate that, Super Mike. Super Mike says, from Philly, white guy. Appreciate that, Mike from Philly. Shout out to all of the white people that ain't racist. A big shout out to all white people that is not racist. Salute, Jamie. Salute, Jamie. Black Boy says, do you know that he is planning that? And not only all the white people that's not racist, a shout out to everybody that's not racist. You can love your race, because I love my race. I'm not saying that don't have love. But when you attempt to dislike somebody because of their race, like it's wrong for me to say, I don't like white people because they white. That's wrong. I don't like Mexicans because they Mexicans. That's wrong. You know, or if you try to hold somebody back because of their race, that's wrong. That's wrong. But I do believe that America one day will reach her true destiny of America being a melting pot for all of us. I do believe that we will reach America's destiny one day. All right. Appreciate that, Kiki. You see, every time I start talking, Kiki, here come the glitches. and soon as I start talking, here come the glitches. But I appreciate that, Kiki. I appreciate that. But like I said, y'all, we got to do better. I got to do better. You got to do better. We all got to do better. We all got to do better. But our focus is for America to be a better place. Our focus is for our children and our children's children to be able to live in peace, harmony, and love. Appreciate that, Mark. Appreciate that, Mark. Appreciate that, Mark. But that's what the focus is. And it can be done. It could be done, y'all. You know, and if you don't want to see us all happy, that's fine. That's fine. But don't get in the way of those that want to see America reach her destiny of it being a melting pot, of it being a place for us all to live in peace, harmony, and love. You don't have to want that, but get out of the way of those that do want that. All right. Look, appreciate all of y'all. Appreciate everybody that just subscribed. Double tap the screen and hit the like button. Once again, before I leave, if you would like to support the channel, my Cash App is $ERICMCINT. All right. I'll leave the chat running for a few minutes, and I'll see y'all on the next demonstration. Salute, y'all. Salute, everybody. Salute, Zayna.